All right, welcome to the fifth installment in our six-part series on transforming your business into a high-performance money machine using the Small Business Data Analysis Roadmap. My name is Rob Fernango, founder and owner of F1 Analytics, and I help energetic business people organize and streamline their critical processes to save time and achieve more success without having to become an expert coder or an analyst. That's why I developed the Small Business Data Analysis Roadmap to help you turn your business into a high-performance money machine in 6 simple steps. If you haven't read my report, then be sure to get over to our website to download the report now. The link is in the description section below. By signing up, you'll get my 36-page Small Business Data Analysis Roadmap absolutely free. You'll also get the tools shown in this video series for free so you can use them with the report and start making changes that impact your life immediately. Now let's go ahead and get into it. In the last video, we performed the tools and analysis audit. We documented each of the data management tools currently being used in our business and identified the performance metrics that are already being calculated by these systems. Instead of developing everything from scratch, it's far easier to make use of the systems that are already calculating KPIs you want. And even if they aren't calculating the KPIs directly, these tools may be providing additional information that can be used to easily calculate your KPIs. In step 5, we're finally at the point where we're going to create our KPI dashboard so that we can capture the KPIs we want to use, track them over time, and perform an assessment of whether performance is improving or not. For this video, there is no paper version of the tool, only an Excel file. It's far better to use a program like Excel or Google Sheets to develop your dashboard so that you can take advantage of the built-in calculation and visualization capabilities of the software. The KPI dashboard comes with 4 specific worksheets: instructions, the KPI list, KPI dashboard, and terms and conditions. For this tool, the instructions worksheet allows you to select a starting year and month for your KPI dashboard. You will also be able to specify up to 20 different business processes for the KPIs you're going to capture. The business processes should be listed in the business process table on the instructions worksheet. The Excel file will open to the instructions worksheet by default. To get to any of the other worksheets, click on the buttons located on the left-hand side of the screen. Note that there's an additional button to email support@f1analytics.com with any questions you might have. The email button will launch your default email program and add the email address and subject line for your message. The next worksheet to review is the KPI list. On this worksheet, you will find navigation buttons to the instructions worksheet and the KPI dashboard. You will also find the data table, which will hold the data for up to 100 KPIs used to drive the KPI dashboard. The data table includes a drop-down menu in the business processes, which is populated by the list created on the instructions worksheet. You'll enter the name of the KPI in the KPI field. The target field is used to indicate the target rate for each KPI. Even if you're not sure about what a reasonable target rate might be, it's good to set a target so that you have a reference point for a goal. You can always update the target rate to something else at a later time once you know what is reasonable and feasible. To identify reasonable and feasible targets, I recommend performing an internet search for your KPI by name or similar names, along with the term benchmark. This should provide you with information on the level of performance that other businesses are able to achieve and help you set a reasonable target. Notice that all of the KPI rates included here are proportions, i.e., they all range between 0 and 1, except for a couple which are based on counts here with the number of units and new ideas generated. The other KPIs are all set as proportions. So many of the KPIs are identified as percentages ranging from 0 to 100. Now these can be included as proportions by moving the decimal place 2 spaces to the left. Finally, KPIs that include counts can also be included in the dashboard. To the right of the target rate field are 12 columns for monthly data entries. The months are determined based on the starting month specified in the instructions worksheet. If you want to capture your data on a quarterly basis rather than monthly, I recommend that you simply calculate the quarterly value of the KPI and add it to each of the 3 months of the quarter. For example, if we wanted to have a sales figure that was quarterly metric, Perhaps we would give this a target rate of 75%. And then we could calculate this quarterly. Let's say we begin at 50% in the first quarter, and we would have 50% then for each of the first 3 months, and then we would see, perhaps we saw an increase to 60%, and we would see an increase over the next 3 months. That would be the second quarter, and then we would see an increase to 70%. In the next 3 months, that's the third quarter, and then we get to 80% in our fourth quarter. And so in this way, we could include quarterly rates, just specifying the 3 months of the quarter as having the same rate in each of those months, and it would show up on the dashboard as quarterly rates. This worksheet should be filled in each month once you decide on the metrics to include, so that you can track your progress to eliminating waste, improving efficiency, saving time, and being happier with your business. I also recommend doing this on a monthly basis so that you're not trying to wrangle data for multiple months at a time. By this point, you should know where the data is coming from and how to calculate each KPI. So developing that habit of completing this table at the end of each month will be good. Doing it on a monthly basis will make you more efficient at the process and provide you regular touch points to decide if you need to change your quality improvement strategy. Now let's take a look at the KPI dashboard. This is the worksheet you'll want to use once the KPI data has been updated each month so that you can make informed decisions about the performance of your business. The worksheet has 2 navigation buttons to get back to the instructions worksheet and the KPI list. Below the navigation buttons is a drop-down menu with a list of the KPIs from the KPI list. When you select a KPI from the list, the line chart and other metrics will update automatically. The line chart shows you the business process and KPI name in the title. The KPI rate will be shown in the solid teal colored line, and the target rate will be shown in the dotted red colored line. To the right of the line chart, there are 5 additional metrics. The current rate, which is the most recent rate reported for the KPI. The target rate, which is the target rate defined on the KPI list worksheet and by the reference line on the chart. Target met or not met, which is an indicator to confirm whether the most recent rate has met the target or not. The distance to the target. If the target has not been met, what is the raw change in the KPI rate necessary to reach the goal? And then gap closure. If the target is not met, how much of the distance between the initial rate and the target rate has been closed since the beginning of the series? Note that once the target rate has been achieved, the met, not met, distance to target, and gap closure metrics will all say target met. If the KPI rate falls short of the target at a later date, then these metrics will be calculated once again. And here's an example. We can look at our quarterly metric, which you can see increases each of 3 months, and it crosses our target rate of 0.75 in the last quarter. So we see that the target has been met, and then for the distance to target and gap closure, those also say that the target has been met. I recommend during the first 3 to 6 months that you're working on improving your processes that you take at least a couple of hours each month to go through each KPI, review the performance, and ask yourself 2 very important questions. Why did this KPI change the way that it did since the last measurement period? And what am I going to do now to improve my process as measured by this metric? Asking why the KPI changed and thinking through all of your quality improvement efforts, as well as any internal or external factors that may have influenced performance, will be important for understanding which quality improvement efforts appear to be working and which do not. It's important when answering this question that you don't just assume your quality improvement efforts either worked or didn't. It's very likely that other factors were influencing your KPIs as well. And sometimes changes in unexpected directions might occur because of temporary challenges from other sources. If a KPI moves in a direction that you did not intend, that is not a signal to completely abandon your current effort, unless it's clear that something went terribly wrong. Rather, it should be a signal to dig in deeper and keep a close eye on processes around that KPI in the next period. If the KPI shows multiple movements away from the target rate, then you should consider making changes to your quality improvement efforts unless you can identify another source for the problem. The second question, asking what you should do to improve your process based on what you're seeing from the KPI, is one that you've already thought about in step 2. In your KPI list worksheet, or KLW, you identified actions to take on increase and actions to take on decrease. Revisit these actions now and work through the steps you outlined to figure out why your KPIs did not improve the way you intended and get your process on track. If there's no obvious reason, other than your quality improvement effort did not work as intended, then consider making a change and attempting a different strategy. The key to this type of quality improvement is to quickly identify when it looks like your actions are not successfully improving your processes and try something different. It's not always easy to come up with the best solutions the first time, and sometimes it takes multiple attempts to find a solution that works. What you don't want to do is continue doing the same thing in the hopes that the outcome will eventually change. Once your KPI dashboard is up and running, you can begin working to improve your processes and transform your business into a sleek and efficient operation. We'll be discussing this process in more detail in the next video. All right, our next video is the 6th and final video in the Small Business Data Analysis Roadmap series. With our KPI dashboard up and running now, using the metrics we can capture from the processes and tools we have in place, we can begin making a concerted effort to improve our business performance, and we'll be able to track those improvements over time to make adjustments. We'll dig into that topic and have some final words of advice for you on your journey to becoming a high-performance money machine next time. Remember, if you haven't read the 6 simple steps to turn your business into a high-performance money machine, then be sure to click in the description section below and get my 36-page Small Business Data Analysis Roadmap report and all of the tools shown in this video series absolutely free so you can get started immediately. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.